Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Thursday, May 9th, 2024 at 4:40 in council chambers and via Zoom. We acknowledge that the town of Kirkland Lake is located on the traditional territory of Algonquin peoples, including Beaver House First Nation and unceded territory of other Indigenous peoples. We recognize the presence of the Algonquin, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, and Métis people in our community since time immemorial and honor their stewardship and care of these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility to reconciliation. Call to order and a moment of silence. Item number 2, approval of the agenda.
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dyken, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held on Thursday, May 9th, 2024, be approved as circulated.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interest. I see none this evening. Item number 4, petitions and delegations. At this time, we'll welcome Community Living, Lise Rosich, Supervisor, Jacob Price, and Christopher Duke. And you may just all gather at the podium, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is
Jacob Prince. Chris.
and I'm Lise Rosich. We are here on behalf of Community Living Kirkland Lake. First of all, I would like to thank Mayor White for declaring May as Community Living Month. It is so nice to see our flag outside of the town hall. Thank you very much. Community Living Month is a province-wide annual awareness campaign to recognize the accomplishment of the community living movement. And we have some fun things lined up for this month of May.
On May 7th, we were at Peck's Centennial Library to donate a book written by a person with disability who can't read or write. On May 17th, Community Living is sponsoring a free swim from 6 to 7:15 p.m. Once again, we are having yoga in the park at Kinross Pond on May 21st at 11 a.m. We will post an alternate location if the weather is cold, like last year. Again, we're also hosting a barbecue from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 25th at Kinross Park. Good. This year, we are also adding plant sale with our gardening class. We are partnering with Alzheimer's Society to do series of educational sessions for the community. The first one starting on May 30th, and everyone is welcome. And lastly, we are hosting a bowling tournament with Special Olympians taking on local celebrities on May 28th at 6 p.m. at Uptown Bowl. We're still looking for a few celebrities, so if anyone of you would like to join us, please let us know.
Okay. We are encouraging all Kirkland Lakers to come out and enjoy these events. We strive to have a full acceptance and this is why we are celebrating this month. We want to be known positively in the town of Kirkland Lake and to have others join in our celebration to become aware of the people we support and to be comfortable in accepting us when we are out and about in the community. Thank you, Mayor White, councillors, and the whole town of Kirkland Lake for helping us achieve this goal.
Thank you very much. You did excellent. As you know, it is very near and dear to my heart, community living. So I appreciate that you took the time to come and speak with us today. Madam Clerk, I'll have the reading of the motion.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owen, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that the delegation entitled Community Living Month Update be received for information purposes.
All in favor? Opposed, none noted, item carried unanimous. Thank you very much, folks. Item number 4.2, introduction of newly appointed Integrity Commissioner, M. David Beauchamp. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor and members of council. I wanted to thank you firstly for the honor of having been appointed along with my firm as your new Integrity Commissioner. I am a lawyer that's been practicing for more than 30 years, mainly in the field of municipal law and doing a lot of work for municipalities across the province, defending claims against them. I've been an Integrity Commissioner for the last 5 or so years. I have quite a number of appointments, including Greater Sudbury, Hamilton, and a number of smaller Northern Ontario municipalities among the dozen or so that we act for. I was particularly personally proud to have been appointed Integrity Commissioner for Kirkland Lake because my mother, who was born Laura Milligan, grew up in Kirkland Lake. And I have fond memories of trips as a kid up Highway 11 through Temagami. Back then it was just 2 lanes all the way to visit relatives in Kirkland Lake, and they were there. The memories have lasted all these years. So it's an honor in particular to be appointed Integrity Commissioner for Kirkland Lake. Among those in my firm of 12 lawyers, we're a downtown Toronto firm, but like I said, we have municipal clients throughout the province. Among those who work on Integrity Commissioner matters aside from myself are Avril Allen, my partner, 2 associates, and an articling student. Among the roles that I will be fulfilling for you are, they're primarily threefold. One is providing advice to you to try to keep you out of hot water, to be honest. That could be on code of conduct violations. It could be on municipal conflict of interest matters. But I'm here to provide you with timely advice. I have constant access to emails. I am available generally up to at least 9 o'clock every night and at least 7 o'clock every morning. So don't be shy about emailing me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Generally, advice should be solicited in writing, and I will provide advice in writing. If it's an urgent matter, like you're 10 or 15 minutes before a council meeting, you suddenly realized you might have a potential conflict, we can have a telephone conversation, after which I would confirm my advice in writing. Another aspect of my role is to provide you with education and training. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be working with the clerk, Jennifer, to find out what particular needs there are in terms of education and training that would best benefit Kirkland Lake Council. And the last and probably cringiest part of my role from your standpoint is that I investigate complaints into code of conduct breaches, as well as municipal conflict of interest act issues. And that is a role that hopefully will not come up very often with this council. But I can assure you I will treat every complaint very seriously and recognize that every complaint against any one of you is a very important and serious matter and deserves to be very carefully considered. So those are really all the opening remarks I wanted to give for now. If you have any questions, I would be happy to take them.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Kylie.
Through you, your worship. The Milligan family is a well-known entity in Kirkland Lake. So welcome back to Kirkland Lake.
Thank you. In fact, my mother, who's 91 years old, wants to come up this summer. And so I think we will oblige her. I have some older kids, and one of them and her fiance are interested in making the trip. So maybe we'll run into one or more of you this summer.
Great, thank you.
Anything further from members of council? Councillor Owen?
Yes, through you, your worship. I particularly enjoyed your comments about investigating complaints. Having been through the process, I know how sensitive and delicate that situation can be. I also know the pressure that one feels when one's being investigated. And I really appreciate the fact that you seem to realize that as well, because we are not professional politicians. We are just people that live and work in the community. And sometimes, knowingly or otherwise, we may step over the line. And like I say, it's not our profession, so it is a difficult balance sometimes. So I appreciate the approach you take there. Thank you.
Anything further? Councillor Shabba?
Yeah, thank you very much to the mayor, to our new integrity commissioner. In some communities, I noticed that when they do have issues related to council matters, those issues, they have tendencies to spill over to say legal cases whereby people start to sue each other or take it beyond the confines of the integrity commission, and then say, well, I'm going out. So my question to you is that will all your investigation or documents related to investigation, would it be something that was subject to any other litigation that the council member may assist them or not? Or is this something that will be confined to just to us here?
Well, I have no power to start legal proceedings against any of you, civil proceedings in particular. If it appears to be a criminal matter, I'm mandated by the Municipal Act, and I'm sure your bylaw also, to refer it to the appropriate authorities. The only proceedings that I could conceivably commence is an application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. And that would only happen after I conducted an investigation and felt that there were grounds for a belief that there had been a violation of the act. And even at that point, I have the discretion to not commence an application to the court, to the Superior Court of Justice, to have my finding confirmed. I can simply deal with it at the level of council and suggest perhaps, if not sanctions, at least make it an educational item, so that, if it was inadvertent and minor, everyone can learn from the situation. So I don't think you have any reason to fear becoming embroiled in litigation as a result of my appointment as your integrity commissioner.
Yeah, just to follow up, I'm really worried about complainants that may not be too happy with the outcome of an investigation, and then they take it upon themselves to seek outside legal advice, and then from there on proceed to any legal action because they're not content with whatever the outcome.
Civil litigation.
Yeah, whatever the outcome might be, stemming from your investigation. I'm not in particular, but any investigation coming out of the integrity commission. People are not always happy, but some people take it like that. Others might not take it like that and say, well, listen, I want to seek remedy elsewhere. So how do we absolve ourselves from? How do we stay away from that without getting embroiled?
Well, first of all, I share your concern, Counselor, for those kinds of complainants. I've amassed quite a number of haters, unhappy with decisions I've made, and who keep reminding me from time to time through email and other means of contact. Hopefully, and I would expect that if I've rendered a decision that's exonerated a counselor, that is going to greatly deter somebody from going to court, because my decision will, in all likelihood, attract deference from a judge, since I'm a specialist in the area that I'm working in, and I think that would be recognized by the court. So somebody may feel so aggrieved that they're willing to spend money on a lawyer to go after you personally, but I think if I have made a finding in your favor and exonerated you from any violations, that should be a powerful deterrent. And if I've found against you and imposed a sanction, hopefully the complainant will be content with that and realize that there's no really other recourse.
Thank you for that. Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted. I do thank you for your time this evening. Hopefully, we won't have to see you very much other than the education portion of your duties. So we do appreciate your time, Madam Clerk. I'll have the reading of the motion.
Certainly moved by Councillor Vlad Shaba, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that the delegation entitled Introduction of Newly Appointed Integrity Commissioner be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. Item number 5.1, council minutes.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Valerie Dykens. Be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the public meeting held. Meeting of the public, minutes of the public meeting, reproposed retail business holiday exemption bylaw held April 25th, 2024, and minutes of the special meeting of council held April 25th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 5.2, local and regional board minutes.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that the council receive the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the Kirkland Lake District Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors held March 5th, 2024, and minutes of the District of Temiskaming Social Services Administration Board of Directors held March 20th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6, reports of municipal officers and communications. 6.1, verbal update, OBRA annual conference and delegation. Alan Smith, CAO.
Through Madam Mayor, to Council. I attended the Good Rose Conference with Mayor White from April 1st to April 24th. Now, Mayor White has already provided her update to Council, so I'll make this brief. We delegated to the Ministry of Infrastructure regarding the town's application to the Housing Water Enabling Fund. We stressed to the parliamentary assistant that if successful, the fund would support the upgrading of current infrastructure by preparing us for future growth. And we should be hearing back probably about 3 weeks' time. The mayor also had a quick chat with Premier Fort, which she mentioned. Now, the topic of infrastructure was, of course, a popular topic at the Good Roads Conference. I attended an interesting seminar which reviewed the historical nature of provincial funding. And over time, how this funding has declined, but at the same time, the province continues to download services to municipalities. In order to help municipalities address their infrastructure needs, one of the solutions was, of course, to help municipalities upload services back up to the province, therefore freeing funds that could go towards infrastructure requirements. Debt financing was also another avenue discussed municipalities to consider. However, recently, with interest rates becoming increasingly higher, this option is less attractive. Most of the seminars were quite technical in nature. I have supplied Director of Public Works information regarding sidewalks. Yes, the exciting topic of sidewalks to the director. That's all I have for that conference.
Any questions or comments from members of council? None noted. I'll have the reading of the motions.
It's been moved by Counselor Patrick Carly, seconded by Counselor Rod Shaba. Be it resolved that report number 2024 CAOVR 3 entitled Verbal Update OGRA Annual Conference and Delegation be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 6.2, verbal update OSUM Annual Conference. Alan Smith, CAO.
Madam Mayor, members of council. I attended the Ontario Small Urban Municipalities Conference, which was held April 14th to 17th in Brilliant. The conference started with AMO providing an Ontario social and economic prosperity review. I just want to mention a few points that was stressed during the presentation that I found it quite relevant. The presenter stressed the municipal fiscal framework is broken. Long-standing structural problems have combined with growth pressures, economic factors, and provincial policy decisions to push municipalities to the brink. Municipal revenue does not grow with the economy out of inflation. Annual inflation in 2022 was 6.8%, for example. Municipalities subsidize the province. Municipalities invest 64 billion in each year in services and infrastructure. Almost 1/3 of that, these annual expenditures pay for services that are provincial responsibilities elsewhere in Canada. Growth requires investment. Building 1.5 million homes by 2031 depends on building essential municipal infrastructure and the public investment to support it. Ontario's municipalities are applying for capital expenditures of 250 to 290 billion dollars over the next 10 years. Around 100 billion of this is growth related. Municipalities have been asked to take on increasingly complex social challenges like homelessness, for example. Property taxpayers can't afford to pay for more. Property taxes were not built to fund systemic social change. As of 2021, Ontario's property taxes were already the second highest in Canada. In 2024 and beyond, many municipalities will be forced to raise property taxes at a time when many can least afford it. Ontario has been under investing in programs for years. Ontario's per capita spending is already the lowest in Canada. The government of Ontario spends $11,794 per capita. This is $2,000 less than national average. The presentation ends with AMO stating that they are developing new tools to support engagement with MPPs. That will be forthcoming, so it'll be of interest to us. And their goal is to have government commitment to a social and economic prosperity review at the next AMO conference in August. Like the Good Rose Conference, infrastructure was of course a popular topic. AMO will be releasing a paper on the use of municipal service corporations for the delivery of water and wastewater services. So I'm looking forward to reviewing that paper once it is released. The local authority services of AMO reviewed the services they provide municipalities. Now they have started a new service relating to cybersecurity. They'll be discussing this further with the IT department. Although there were no opportunities to delegate at this conference, the seminars were informative, and it was also interesting to note some of these same themes were also found at the Good Rose Conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of council? None noted. I'll have the reading of the motion.
Certainly moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that report number 2024 CAOVR 4 entitled Verbal Update OSUM Annual Conference be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 6.3 supplemental. International Association of Firefighters Local 573 Collective Agreement. Cassandra Young, Manager, Human Resource Services.
Right, well, thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to council. This report is being presented to you today following approval of the memorandum of agreement between the town and the IAFF Local 573, which occurred on April 2nd, 2024, after having successful negotiations for renewal of collective agreement. Also following that meeting, we had a press release that was sent out. The terms of the terms and agreement are now highlighted in the collective agreement, which is attachment 1. At this time, staff are recommending that the mayor and CAO ratify the collective agreement between the town and the IAFF Local 573 for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of council? None noted. I'll have the reading of the motion.
Certainly moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley, be it resolved that report number 2024-26 entitled Supplemental IAFF Local 573 Collective Agreement be received, and finally that the mayor and chief administrative officer are hereby authorized to ratify the collective agreement between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and the International Association of Firefighters IAFF Local 573 covering the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried. Thank you. Item number 6.4, quarterly municipal accommodation tax update. Dan Leverter, Director of Development and Enterprise Services.
Good evening to you, Madam Mayor. As promised, I'll be providing a quarterly update on the municipal accommodations tax. And this is the first, we have our first numbers in for Q1 for this year. So in my report, as outlined, I gave a little bit of the timelines that we followed in putting the MAT tax in place starting in November of last year. And then November 21st, council enacted the MAT tax to start for January 1st. So the collection of the MAT tax or municipal accommodations tax January 1st at the tax rate of 4% plus HST was established and was started to be collected January 1. To date, the town has collected $36,735.64. And we have currently billed $46,727.50. So that's January 1st to March 30th. So we did see a slight above what we had predicted for the first quarter, and we will continue to monitor going forward. The implementation in general has been a smoother start than we had initially anticipated, which has gone quite well. We will continue to monitor the use of the MAT tax, and it's been good working with Treasury in billing and the collecting process. And we'll continue to educate through 2024. We do have some operators that are still not on board, and we are going to continue to do an education process to ensure that anyone that is operating currently under the guidelines is on board and collected. Thank you.
Thank you. Just before I open the floor, I definitely want to say thank you to all staff involved in this. It has been a long journey to start to collection. It was introduced in 2019 at this table, so it has definitely been long overdue. And I sincerely thank members of the community and business owners for coming on board with this. I believe that their efforts will pay dividends in the future to tourism and economic development in our community. And this is a huge shot in the arm for tourism in Kirkland Lake. Anything from members of council? Councillor Shava?
Yeah, thank you to you, Madam Mayor. I have a couple of questions for you. The first one is the people or businesses that are not on board. Are there any particular reason? You don't have to tell me who they are. I don't really want to know, but any particular reasons why they are not on board to the best of your knowledge?
For sure. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Shava. A lot that we are noticing right now are from booking agencies online like Airbnb, VRBO. And in those booking sections, an address isn't provided until an accommodation is booked. So we are spending some time trying to see who and what residences within the town are currently using those models. It's a little bit easier when you're dealing with a registered hotelier or a bed and breakfast, but for items that are online, it's a little bit more challenging. So that's where we figure putting the education piece out there, educating why we collect it, what it will be used for, and sector enhancements that could really enhance the experience and get more bookings for these individuals in our town.
My second question, yeah, my second question is, we got all this money, I know, at the onset of this, you know, the money comes, there was a mechanism of trying to disperse them. Can you maybe refresh our memories as to what would become of that money once they accumulate to a point at which we are comfortable in maybe doing something with the money? So can you just take us through how that money will be dispersed?
Definitely, through you, Madam Mayor. In your agreement with the MAT taxes, 50% of the net proceeds were to be brought to the Tourism Development Corporation of Kirkland Lake that is in its infancy right now. The other 50% was a reserve fund for economic development at a future date. The 50% that will be going to the Tourism Development Corporation is a little bit premature at this point. We're in the process of adopting the procedural bylaws for the Tourism Development Corporation. And that will also form a little bit more of a mindset or plan when the Economic Development and Tourism Strategic Plan finishes in the beginning of June. So we'll have a better idea, and we will be creating a budget with ideas that will be adopted for the money spent.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Shabbat?
I just want to make a comment that I would like to see part of that money go out as quickly as possible to maybe towards advertising for tourism, because we can't wait. We can't wait till, I don't know, when people are ready to do all these things. So we have the money, maybe we should be maybe on very quickly get some of that into tourism and advertising and all of that stuff to bring people to community. Thank you.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. The budget and the plan from the Economic Development and Tourism Strategic Plan will outline areas that the community and businesses have told us where the money needs to be spent. And then a plan will be devised to roll money out to enhance advertising and a marketing plan for the town.
Anything further from members of council? Councillor Owen?
Thank you, your worship. Dan, I'm gonna try and be nice. If the operators refuse to pay, do we have the teeth to, I know we're in the early stages, but after the education, if people are still refusing to pay, do we have the teeth to get that money?
Through you, Madam Mayor, there are mechanisms to go that route. And there are areas for registries that are mandatory, and that there are fees associated to those. Initially, that's not in the structure of our map. That's not the way that council had adopted what we have. So we can investigate that down the road. I think with some more education, I believe that we could still get the adoption from the other operators at this point.
Follow up, Councillor Owen?
Thank you, your worship. I've lived in this community for 42 years and I've seen a lot of money spent on advertising, but I've never seen a plan. And I think it's very important. $36,000 in advertising is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. We couldn't put forward a plan with that amount of money. And I like what I'm hearing, that we're gonna wait until we have a plan to start spending this money, because I've seen money spent in the past and it just went out the door. And there was no means of measuring results. there was no way of telling if it worked. So I'm glad to hear that we're gonna wait until we have a plan before we start reinvesting that money. And at least then we should be able to have something that we can measure against. I know it's an abstract measure, but we should be able to see some results and we'll have a goal in mind. You know, like a target slogan or whatever, a target audience. And a plan in terms of what media we use. I mean, that's all important in spending this money, so I'm very pleased with what I hear, thank you.
Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted, Madam Clerk?
Certainly moved by Councillor Vlad Chava, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that report number 2024 DEV 11 entitled Quarterly Municipal Accommodations Tax Update be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 7, considerations of notice of motions. At this time, I'll have acting Mayor Owens take the chair.
Yeah.
Item 7.1, Mayor Stacy White, shared resources.
At this time, can I have the municipal clerk just read the motion, please?
Certainly through you, Mr. Acting Chair. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Whereas the town of Kirkland Lake is a community that is home to various resource-based community partners, which includes mining and forestry. And whereas the town of Kirkland Lake as a resource-based community faces many challenges resulting from having such resource-based industries located and operating within and in close proximity to the town, such as localized heavy truck traffic, which increases demands on local road infrastructure, traffic congestion and delays, and general safety concerns for pedestrians and other forms of transportation users. And whereas the demands caused by these resource-based industries have created additional costs on the town of Kirkland Lake to maintain the local infrastructure required to service these industries adequately. And whereas the current assessment-based taxation system does not provide significant funding to the municipality to meet these demands and needs. And whereas the province of Ontario has adopted a criteria mineral strategy to position Ontario as a global leader of responsibility to source critical minerals and which aims to see more resource extraction and processing in the north. And whereas the future housing demand of the town of Kirkland Lake as mining is further developed in Northern Ontario will expand the current infrastructure funding gap locally as the new housing and development related infrastructure is required to support and facilitate future mining operations. And whereas the town of Kirkland Lake acknowledges that it is a recipient of the Northern Ontario Resource Development Support Fund, which is NORDS, but maintains that the amount received is inadequate to support the demand on local infrastructure caused by the resource-based industries in the area, nor is it proportionate to the revenues being generated for the province by said industries. Therefore, be it resolved that council for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake hereby petitions the province of Ontario to create a provincial funding model in addition to the NORDS Fund, which is set to expire 2026-2027, to provide revenues to all resource-based communities in Northern Ontario that are proportionate to the revenues leaving our region in an effort to offset the additional burdens placed on resource-based communities to provide municipal services to these industries. And finally, that a copy of this motion be circulated to the Premier of Ontario, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Minister of Northern Development, Timiskaming Cochrane MPP, Minister of Mines, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, which is AMO, Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, which is FNOM, Northern Ontario Municipal Association, which is NOVA, all District of Timiskaming municipalities, the City of Timmins, Municipality of Red Lake, and Township of Dubreuilville.
Thank you, through you, Acting Mayor Owens. So it's pretty clear, what was set out in the motion and the reasons behind it. But I did want to make note that it came about through discussions with Mayor Michelle Boileau of Timmins, Mayor Beverly Nuttall of Dubreuilville, and Mayor Fred Moda of Red Lake and myself. We really do, it is time for more equitable revenues for all resource-based communities in the north. That are proportionate to the revenues leaving our region. We know our gold mines and our forestry sector are putting out massive amount of money when it comes to the province, but they are taking it from sometimes our communities themselves or just outlying areas. Our 4 municipalities, if this council chooses to support this motion, will be leading the lobbying effort to create a provincial funding model in addition to NORDS, which is set to expire in 2026, 2027. So I hope you can support this motion.
Councillor Kylie as a seconder, do you have any comments?
Through you, your worship. Yeah, I strongly support this resolution. The Mining Act was probably back 100 years and basically has left the municipalities out in the cold as far as revenue sharing. I did have the opportunity for a brief discussion with the Minister of Mines, George Fury, at Phenom. And I was told that they are working on some type of program in this regard. So our resolution is perfect timing to remind them that there are other communities and ourselves that have a big concern in revenue sharing. I also note that my understanding, which I found out at Phenom, was that the Indigenous communities are receiving revenue sharing for mines on their lands. So it's not going to be entirely new. I think knowing the Minister of Mines as he is, something will happen, but this is very timely and I strongly support this resolution. Thank you.
Any other members, Councillor Owen?
Through you, Acting Mayor Owens. During my first term on council, the very first motion I put forward in this chamber was asking the province to live up to their promise that they made during the election, that the mineral taxes that they were collecting from the mines and municipalities would stay in the municipalities. They did not act on that. Instead, 2-3 years later, they came out with this NORDS program, which is nowhere near the amount of money that goes out of this community. To me, this is like saying to the corporations down south, we're only going to tax you on your first 2 floors because the rest is in the air and they're not on the ground. Well, no, our industry goes down. We should be getting municipal taxation for the mine workings, the shops, and I don't blame the mining companies for putting their shops on the ground because it makes sense from a production point of view. They don't have to, when they bring that equipment up the surface, they have to dismantle it all and sling it up the shaft. If they don't have to bring it all the way to the surface, they're saving time and money. On top of that, if they don't build that shop on surface, they're not paying municipal taxes on it. You can't blame a mining company for wanting to make a profit. I don't want to see the mining companies pay additional tax. I want us to get, by us, I mean the municipality, to get our fair share of the products that are produced, tax on the products that are produced right here. And so I 100% support this. I'm glad there's going to be a coalition of mayors to lead this up. It's much more effective than just one mayor saying it. And I think the fact that the mines minister is from Timmins and a former mining executive will help this motion when it gets to the province. And I just want to congratulate Mayor Stacey and the other mayors that are involved for bringing this to council. So thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? I'm not gonna ask for the motion again. I think you can just vote to agree. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Mayor Owens. I do appreciate that. Item number 8, introduction, reading, and consideration of bylaws. 8.1 bylaw number 24-028.
Moved by Counselor Rick Owens, seconded by Counselor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-28 being a bylaw to permit retail business establishments to operate on holidays for the maintenance or development of tourism within the geographic limits of the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. 8.2 bylaw number 24-029.
Moved by Counselor Lad Chaba, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-29 being a bylaw to establish fees and charges for the Kirkland Lake Fire Services Department.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 8.3 bylaw number 24-030.
Moved by Counselor Janice Ranger, seconded by Counselor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-30 being a bylaw to establish fees for the Kirkland Lake Cemetery.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.4 bylaw number 24-031. Madam Clerk, you have to speak on this matter?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor, through you to all of council. I just wanted to note a minor amendment to Schedule A, which is the clerk's division. The bylaw as presented is noting a reference to a mileage amount. It actually should be referencing as per the travel expense policy of the town. Therefore, the bylaw before you this evening is being proposed to be amended on the floor. To that effect. Yes, we'll need a number and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Dykens, second by Counselor Owen.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw as amended on the floor be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and a seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-31 being a bylaw to establish and require payment of various fees and charges for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.45 bylaw number 24-032.
Moved by Counselor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Counselor Lad Chaba. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and a seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-32 being a bylaw to authorize the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake to enter into an agreement with the IAFF Local 573.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried. Item number 8.6 bylaw number 24-033.
Moved by Counselor Rick Owens, seconded by Counselor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-33 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 3 McKelvey Avenue.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.7 bylaw number 24-034.
Moved by Counselor Lad Chaba, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-34 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 7 and 9 Main Street.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 8.8 bylaw number 24-035.
Moved by Counselor Janice Ranger, seconded by Counselor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-35 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 11 Comfort Street.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 8.9 bylaw number 24-036.
Moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-36 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 13 Balsam Avenue.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.10 bylaw number 24-037.
Moved by Counselor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Counselor Lad Chaba. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-37 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 15 Comfort Street.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.11, bylaw number 24-038.
Moved by Counselor Rick Owens, seconded by Counselor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and sealed, the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2438 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 70 Balsam Avenue.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.12, bylaw number 24-039.
Moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2439 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 72 Balsam Avenue.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 9, questions from council to staff. There were none submitted prior to this council meeting. Item number 10, notices of motion. 10.1, Councillor Dolly Dykens.
Thank you, Mayor White. I just would like to read that there will be a motion brought forward on June the 4th regarding the organizational review of the fire services department, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Fletcher.
Okay, thank you. Anything further? Councillor Kiley?
May I comment on that?
No, we'll reserve comments for when it's brought forward. It's just to notice that it will be brought forward on June 4th, sorry. Anything further? Notice of motions? None noted. Thank you. Item number 11.1, updates from members of council.
Just, are we supposed to do our report about this?
If you're prepared to report, yeah, absolutely. You can. Councillor Shabbat?
Oh, okay, sure, I'll give it a very brief one. The Phenom conference took place this past last 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Councillor Kylie, we only survived 2 days of it, so we came home yesterday. It was a lot of about 250 delegates. And the theme of that was unlocking the North's potential. So we had a lot of ministers in attendance, 6 and 1 deputy minister of transportation. I feel sorry for the guy because he got the most of the rough and tumble of the questions during the bear pit session. And then we had the 2 opposition leaders in attendance also. So I know some of my colleagues will be filling in the gaps, but I just want to, there are a lot of species, a lot of sessions and whatnot. I just want to zoom in on 2 that's really more of interest to me, will be of interest to you. The presentation by Ontario Northland was very much superb, well presented. And I can tell you that the passenger train service that's coming back is on track. And the emphasis to me is that it's not going to be the way it was before. It's going to be something different going forward. And the same old cars and whatnot. So they took us through some of the new features of what's to come. And to me, that is very, very, very impressive. I love that presentation. And the other part of the presentation that maybe was a shock to me, probably the shock to you if you were there, is that the Ontario Northland, because the in short of skilled workers, so they started their own apprenticeship program. Which begs the question. I mean, we have Canada, we have Belgium, we have all these colleges, so maybe the question is, are they not meeting their needs? But they said they had to start their own apprenticeship program. There was a lot of I talked about critical minerals, and this is I mean, that last motion that we had from the mayor was very timely because you know, we don't get anything from what's coming out of the ground right now. So what's the guarantee that we're going to get anything when those critical minerals start coming out of the ground? So it is very timely, as you know, in our community now. I was speaking to one of the impact reps there. I mean, we don't have that much of a very big industrial base. So which means that there's a lot of pressure on the residential rates because we don't have expanded industrial base. So having some income or something from resources or shared resources would certainly take the pressure off any of the residential rates that we're going through. And the last one that is really a good one was a presentation by a gentleman, Terry, I forgot his last name, from the pulp, sawmill and pulp and paper. Very well presented. This guy went through the evolution or devolution, we'll call it, of some number of sawmill and pulp and paper mills last 20-25 years or so. All over Ontario, maybe about 24 or 30 of them, and now they're down to about a handful of them. One in Kapuskasing and a few down in near Sudbury. So that to me is very shocking that the way things are going now, that trend is going really down. Will be that in about 10 years' time, there won't be any sawmill or pulp and paper. You asked what's still got to do with each other, but apparently, the chips from sawmill feed the pulp and paper. So if you don't have the sawmill, then you don't have chips, then you can't feed the pulp and paper to get it up in operation. So all in all, I think it was well attended. We met up with the minister, as he said. We talked to the minister, and then we had a good dinner at the Caruso Club with my other colleagues, and everything went well. That's it for my report. If you have any questions, let me know. If I cannot help you, we'll send you to for no website.
Thank you for that, Councillor Shava. Anything further from members of council? Okay. Oh, Councillor Owens.
Just a quick one, through you, Madam Mayor. This is not necessarily council related in my role, but I've had the opportunity to take a group of students down to Skills Ontario in the last 4 days. So if I'm really tired today, it's not because I'm not interested, just it's been a long 4 days. And just to let council members know and me that Kirkland Lake was very well represented at this competition. It is insane the amount of work that goes into these things. It's a must see as an educator to go see what Skills Ontario is, and our local youth did really well. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Anything further from members of council? Okay, so the town of Kirkland Lake has now terminated the state of emergency as of May 1st. At this time, staff continue to gather required evidence and documentation for the province regarding this event. As more information becomes available, it will be disseminated to council staff and the community at large. As previously stated, CAO Smith, Councillor Shava, Kylie, and myself attended FONOM in Sudbury, May 6th to the 8th. This year, the theme, as Councillor Shava noted, was Unlocking the North's Potential. And it was a full conference with over 26 hours of information sandwiched into 3 very short days. There was many guest speakers and appearances by various ministers. I won't bother to cover what has already been covered by Councillor Shava. I did attend the AGM of FONOM yesterday, and a few motions were passed covering topics including aerodromes, physician recruitment, nurse recruitment, definition of employer, and connecting link issues. Some of these have been passed at this council table already, and some we've already added to our voices to those causes, and others will be received shortly through motions of FONOM. The best news coming out of the conference this year was they may be bringing delegations of ministers next year for smaller municipalities. FONOM is often the only conference they can afford to attend, as it's held in the north and it is less expensive to attend. So adding the possibility of speaking with the ministers directly would add to the benefits of attending for all northern and small municipalities. I do wish the executive of FONOM the best of luck securing delegations in the future. As for the duties of mayors, public appearances are ongoing, including school visits, volunteering for various causes of outside agencies, and welcoming remarks on behalf of the community. May 5th to the 11th is Municipal Clerks Week, and I want to take a brief moment to highlight our incredible clerk, Jennifer Montroy, and amazing deputy clerk, Amberly Spillman. Not only do these individuals keep us on track, follow the municipal act, but their duties and responsibilities are far-reaching, including everything from lotto to marriage to death and everything in between. You are both dedicated and talented and wonderful, and we appreciate you more than you know. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's a long list of appreciation tonight. May 6th to the 12th is National Nursing Week, and I want to pay tribute to our incredible staff at TPR. Working in long-term care takes a special person, and I can tell you, everyone employed at TPR are caring and kind and knowledgeable and devoted to the people they care for. Director of Long-Term Care and Senior Services, Tanya Schumacher, was a mentor to me many moons ago when I was in healthcare, starting out in healthcare. And I am confident under her direction, our nursing staff is top-notch. Thank you for all that you do as nurses and do as people care. The last one is the Long Service Recognition Awards program of the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators is dedicated to honoring and celebrating the dedication of their members to the public service and municipal management, a cornerstone priority for their association. These awards are based on the duration of full-time paid employment in municipal government, specifically in management roles such as chief administrative officer or those reporting directly to them. This year, it is my privilege to acknowledge the commitment of our own CAO, Alan Smith, for his remarkable 25 years of service in municipal government management role. Alan's dedication to his role has undoubtedly contributed to the advancement of our municipality, and we are so pleased to recognize this achievement. His recognition pin is in the mail. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you.
I didn't know you would read that.
So that's for me. So Madam Clerk, I'll have the reading of the motion.
Certainly, Madam Mayor. Moved by Counselor Janice Ranger, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that the verbal updates from members of council be received.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12, additional information. Here we go. Okay. Whereas Fibromyalgia Awareness Day aims to raise awareness and end the stigma and discrimination that accompany this chronic illness. And whereas fibromyalgia affects about 5% of Canadians' population, over 2 million individuals of all ages and races in Canada are afflicted with this chronic illness. And whereas fibromyalgia often takes an average of 3 to 5 years to diagnose. And whereas there is no known cause of, prevention of, or cure for fibromyalgia. And whereas fibromyalgia is a complex illness whose symptoms vary widely and may include debilitating chronic pain, overwhelming fatigue, and cognitive impairment. And whereas patients with fibromyalgia often have a number of coexisting conditions, which may include chronic myofascial pain, irritable bowel syndrome, temporal myangiobular joint disorder, environmental sensitivities, anxiety, and depression. And whereas fibromyalgia greatly reduces the quality of life, can cause total disability, and also affects families, friends, and employers. Living with chronic pain and fatigue on a daily basis can lead to social isolation. So it is important for sufferers and their families, friends, and caregivers to know that they are not alone. And whereas people with fibromyalgia have a right to be treated with dignity and have a right to pain relief. And whereas together we can find ways to enhance the quality of lives for people affected with fibromyalgia, and together we can find a cure. Now therefore, I, Stacey White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim May 12th, 2024 as a Fibromyalgia Awareness Day in the Town of Kirkland Lake.
Moved by Counselor Lad Chaba, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens. Be resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Fibromyalgia Awareness Day, May 12th, 2024 in the Town of Kirkland.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carries unanimous. Item number 12.2, whereas victims and survivors of crime have gone through traumatic experiences. And whereas the goal of Victims and Survivors of Crime Awareness Week is to raise awareness about the issues facing about and laws in place to help victims and their families. And whereas Victims and Survivors of Crime Awareness Week is also a time to acknowledge the work of service providers and their dedication in assisting victims and survivors of crime and their families. And whereas this year's theme, The Power of Collaboration, highlights that we can all help to shape a future in which victims and survivors of crime are treated with compassion, courtesy, and the respect they deserve. And whereas the Victim Services of Timiskaming and District has requested council proclaim the week of May 12th to the 18th, 2024 as Victims and Survivors of Crime Awareness Week. Now, therefore, I, Stacy White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim May 12th to the 18th, 2024 as Victims and Survivors of Crime Awareness Week in the Town of Kirkland Lake.
Moved by Counselor Patrick Kelly, seconded by Counselor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Victims and Survivors of Crime Awareness Week, May 12th to the 18th, 2024 in the Town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed and noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 12.3. Whereas the Moose Hide campaign is an Indigenous-led grassroots movement of men, boys, and all Canadians standing up to end violence against women, children, and all those along the gender continuum. And whereas the Moose Hide campaign was founded along the Highway of Tears in British Columbia in response to the injustice and violence faced by many women and children in Canada, particularly those who are Indigenous. And whereas intimate partner violence is at epidemic proportions across Canada, with more than 4 in 10 women having experienced it in their lifetime. And this reality is worse for Indigenous women, who are twice as likely to experience violence from their current or former partners. And whereas the Moose Hide campaign has distributed over 5 million Moose Hide pins that each spark conversations about issues of violence against women, children, and all those among the gender continuum. And whereas wearing the Moose Hide pin demonstrates a commitment to honor, respect, and protect the women and children in your life, end gender-based violence, and take meaningful action towards reconciliation with Indigenous people. And whereas participation in the Moose Hide campaign is a concrete action for all citizens to address the legacies of colonization, residential schools, and the reality of more than 1,200 missing, murdered, or Indigenous women in Canada. And whereas engagement with the Moose Hide campaign aligns with the United Nations Declaration on the Right of Indigenous Peoples, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action, and the calls for justice of the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Now, therefore, I, Stacy White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim May 16th, 2024 as Moose Hide Campaign Day in the Town of Kirkland Lake.
Moved by Counselor Lon Chapa, seconded by Counselor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Moose Hide Campaign Day, May 16th, 2024 in the Town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 12.4. Whereas the third week in May of each year is recognized across North America as Paramedic Services Week by municipalities, paramedic organizations and associations, as well as other levels of government. And whereas Paramedic Services Week is May 19th to the 25th, 2024, and whereas the District of Timiskaming Social Service and Administration Board Emergency Medical Services serve the people of the district every day, we take the opportunity to recognize the exceptional services they provide, from their prompt and compassionate response to our citizen in urgent need to the supportive role they play in community paramedics. And whereas paramedics dedicate their lives to public service, and their skills often make the difference when community members are at their most vulnerable. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake wishes to recognize the important contribution of the more than 50 full-time and part-time paramedics who work out of the 3 bases across the district, as well as recognize the paramedics across Canada And whereas Kirkland Lake residents and members of this community are urged to recognize the vital contributions provided by all paramedics in the district of Temiskaming, therefore be it resolved that I, Stacy White, the mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim May 19th to the 25th, 2024 as Paramedic Services Week in the town of Kirkland Lake.
Moved by Counselor Rick Owen, seconded by Counselor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Paramedic Services Week, May 19th to the 25th, 2024 in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12.5, I, Stacy White, Mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, by virtue of the power vested in me as the mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Polish Heritage Month in the town of Kirkland Lake.
Moved by Counselor Casey Owen, seconded by Counselor Rod Chaba. Be it resolved, council sanction the proclamation for Polish Heritage Month in May in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 12.6. I, Stacy White, Mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, by the virtue of the power vested in me as the mayor of the town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Asian Heritage Month in the town of Kirkland Lake.
Moved by Counselor Janice Ranger, seconded by Counselor Patrick Riley. Be it resolved that council sanction the proclamation for Asian Heritage Month in the month of May in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 13, there is no closed session this evening, and therefore item 14, there are no matters from closed session. Item number 15, confirmation bylaw number 24-040.
Moved by Counselor Rod Chaba, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2440, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held Thursday, May 9th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 16, adjournment.
Moved by Counselor Dolly Dyken, seconded by Counselor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council do now adjourn at 5:51 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you, one and all.